Sit. Stay. Down. Stay. Okay. Nice. Good girl. Splash. Sit. Stay. Leave it. Leave it. Leave it. Good. Okay, Flash, go. Good girl. That's my girl. Good job. Okay, let's go. Good girl. Good girl. Let's go. Good girl. Very good. Okay. No? Okay. We're just going to retreat. There you go. Get his patch. Get his patch. Get his patch. Drop it. Oh, you already dropped it. There you go. Good girl. Drop it. Ah, good job, Splash. Good girl. Drop it. Yes. Come here. Drop it. Good girl. Good girl. Splashers. Splashers. Yes, good girl. Splash. Sit. Okay. Drop it. Good, drop it. Drop it. Thank you. Okay. Hi, this is Ashley from Top Dog Training and Resort. We just showed you everything that Splash has learned. And now I'm going to show you how to give each command properly and then correct her if she chooses not to obey the command. So there's going to be a command such as sit and then a hand signal that goes with it. For sit, it's going to be palm up towards the sky. So you want to make sure when you go to give her a command that you have her attention. So I use funny noises like that, and then you want to stand right in front of her before you tell her what you want. Rather than if she was over there sniffing something and then you try to tell her something, it's going to be much more she's going to be much more obedient, quick to respond once you get her attention first. Funny noises will do it. So a quick step back, quick movements will get her attention. What a good girl. Oh, bless you. So I'm going to encourage her to get up again, and then I'm going to turn towards her, tell her to sit with the hand signal, and then go from there. Okay. Sit. Good. Okay. So of course, if she does it the first time, no corrections are needed. If you were to tell her to sit, and about 1-2 seconds go by, she doesn't sit, you want to tell her, So that's her verbal reprimand. That's like her warning, like, hey, you forgot to do something, or you haven't done what I've asked. And then if she still doesn't sit after the verbal reprimand, you want to give her a little correction with the leash and the prong collar. So the correction with the leash is always going to be a pop and release motion. Just very quick jerk, and then immediately release the tension afterwards. You don't want extended pressure on that collar, just that quick little pop is what we're going for. So for sit, you're going to correct straight up if she weren't to sit. So think of it like the hand signal. If she doesn't sit, after the verbal reprimand still doesn't sit, then pop up. Splash! Good girl. Then you would pop straight up with the leash, and you can repeat the little pops until she sits. And then you want to make sure you still give her praise. Okay. You want to get that balance. The praise after she complies is just as important, if not more important, than the correction itself. Good girl. For down, which of course is belly on the ground, we're going to do palm towards the floor. As I turn towards her, get her attention. Splash! Good girl. Sit. Down. Good. Okay. So again, she did it the first time I asked, no corrections. If she were into down when I asked, drop it. If she weren't down, of course, again, you're gonna give her that verbal reprimand. Down. Oh, she did it, she did it. Sit. Down. Okay. And normally I will put her in a sit first. Drop it. Good. Okay. I'll put her in a sit first before we go to the down. It's much easier for her. But same thing, same sequence. Tell her to down. She doesn't do it. First. And then if she still doesn't do it, you're going to pop and release with the leash towards the ground. Where you want her to be, correct in that direction. Until she lays down, then stop the corrections and make sure you get that praise. Okay, good girl. For the place command, which is any designated area that you want her to be on, good girl, you're going to present it to her kind of like I just did, point to it, or kind of sweep your hand over it as you tell her to place. And then when she gets on, as long as all 4 paws are on it, she's good. Normally I'll tell her to sit or lay down just because she's more likely to hold it for a little longer. Splash. Sit. Down. Good girl. So you want her place to be somewhere that's very comfortable for her. Normally I'll tell you to put it in a living area so you guys can be on the couch and leave it. And she can have her little place bed. So that's perfect place for it. And then for the stay command, which is of course telling her to hold the position I put her in, either in a place or a sit or a down, anywhere on the floor. Place is helpful a lot of times because it gives her a barrier to stay on, so that visual aspect helps some dogs stay a little longer. So with the stay command, stay. It's a palm towards her face, towards her muzzle. And she breaks the stay. I'm just going to put her back in the down. Good stay. Good girl. Okay. And then her release word is okay. Okay frees her up to do what she wants, and so you give her the next command to do. The leave it command is going to be when she gets fixated on something else and you want her to return her focus back to you. So I threw treats on the ground earlier in the demonstration and tell her to leave it as soon as she looks at it, and then when she looks back at you, reward her with a separate treat. You don't want to tell her to leave something and then give it to her immediately as a reward. Excuse me. So leave it could be used for when she looks at something else and you want her to look back at you. And then drop it, of course, is if she has something in her mouth and you want her to give it up. We play drop it, swap it. So we have like 2 tennis balls or 2 toys of similar value. We'll throw one, let her have it in her mouth, show her the other one, tell her to drop it. As soon as she drops the first one, you'll throw that other one. So it's going to be like an ongoing game for her, and you're working on drop it at the same time, teaching her that there's a payoff for dropping what she has in her mouth. And then when we call her to come, so that's going to be the one command you always want to use her name first. So it's going to be splash, come. Splash should get her attention, and then come with an outstretched arm in towards your body. So nice and loud when we call her, splash, come on. Good girl. Good. Okay. You want to make sure you start on leash so you can give her a little nag, a little correction with the leash if she chooses not to come. Splash, come. Very good. Great time to practice this command is feeding times or playing times, because you always want her to associate coming when called with something really positive for her. You don't want to call her to come and then trim her nails, or it's the end of playtime, because you want her to always be really happy to come to you when you call her. Also with her name, you want to try not to use her name as a reprimand. That's why we have that splash should be a golden sound to her. Splash, come. Thank you. Okay. Using treats for the recalls in the beginning is going to be very helpful, as well as those quick movements, pump her up, be her cheerleader, and get her excited to come to you rather than do anything else. A game y'all can play in the house is 2 or more people. Start about 6 feet away from each other, have some treats, call her back and forth to you. Once she gets good at that, spread out a little bit, eventually go to different rooms, becomes like hide and seek to her, and it's a really great game to keep working on those recalls, but again, turn it into a fun game, get everybody involved. Splash. Now we're going to work on the healing. So with the command is going to be let's go. That's going to initiate the walk, and she needs to stay pretty much in line with my leg like this. If she were to forge out in front or out to the side, you're going to want to correct her in the direction that you want her to return to. So if she's out in front, you're going to pop and release with the leash back towards your hip, back where you want her to be. Let's go. Come on. Good girl. Good girl. So nice, make sure there's slack in the leash when she's right next to you. Any tension on that leash is a correction for her. Then when we come to a stop, there you go. She's expected to sit automatically. If she forgets, first just give her that a lot of times that'll fix it. If she still doesn't sit, remember the correction with the leash for sit, straight up between her ears until she sits. Just nag, nag, nag until she sits. Then release the tension and make sure you praise her. Good girl. Let's do it again. Let's go. Good girl. So nice loose leash. And then we come to a stop. Thank you. Okay. So of course she's gonna get distracted. She's a puppy. Everything is really exciting to her. So just that little as a reminder works 90% of the time. If not, you have the leash to remind her. But the more kind of oomph you put in that the less likely you'll have to use the leash. Because she is a pretty soft dog. She responds well to the verbal. So always go with that first before we use the leash. And then the last command is the off command. So that's if she's jumping up on you guys, other people, or furniture. Splash. Splash. Come. Good girl. So you see, if she's doing something else that you don't want her to do, replace it with a good command. So I called her to me. I want her focus on me now rather than whatever's under that bed. So off is the command you're going to use if she jumps up on you. You also want to correct her with the leash towards the ground. So remember where you want her to be. She's jumping up, you want her on the ground, correct towards the ground. And then you want to ask her to sit. We're replacing the bad behavior, the jumping, with something good like a sit. And then we're praising her for that. We want to teach her a new way to greet people is to go up to them and sit instead of jumping. It's just something you have to be consistent with. Make sure she's not getting loved on when she jumps up. Ask her to sit before she even has the opportunity to get up off the ground. That'll be the best thing. Just and then praise her heavily as soon as she does. If she were to jump up, if you don't have the leash on her to correct her, just kind of lift your knee so you don't feel the need to push her off because that's giving her attention at that point. Just simply lift your knee and then calmly ask her to sit. Because sometimes if she gets amped up and then we start getting amped up, it's now much harder for her to calm down. So you stay calm as you can and she will come down to meet you. You did so good. Good girl, baby. Okay.